the mind is important, because if you're not sound-minded, you will not pay attention to yourself. People actually, once you hear mental health, it's like, oh, mental illness, mental disease, person don't go, but that's far from the truth.
Okay.
There is mental illness and there's poor mental health, just like you have physical health and physical illness and poor physical health, where you're not taking care of yourself, you're not working out, you're not eating right, you're not having good sleep. You're a very normal person physically, but you're not optimal. And they saw things that they shouldn't have seen, they experienced things that they shouldn't experience, but they learned how to compensate, how to navigate without meeting their needs.
Thank you for having us here today. It's really a blessing, and Happy New Year. I think this is the first interview we're having this year, so thank you very much. Can you please introduce yourself to us?
Okay, so I'm a woman of many things.
Okay.
So my name is Dr. Uddy Sirima, popularly known as Dr. Uddy.
Okay.
I'm a medical doctor by profession.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, I'm the CEO of Got It International.
Okay.
So that is a gifts and lifestyle company, also procurement and logistics.
Okay.
So I am the founder. I'm the founder of Flourish and Grow Women's Initiative.
Okay.
And it's targeted towards helping women prioritize their emotional and mental health.
Okay.
And then I'm also a life coach, life and well-being coach.
Okay.
And that's the part I enjoy most because it's really impacting.
Okay.
And it's called Coaching for a Better You.
Okay.
So,
how do you move from being a practitioner to a life coach?
Okay, so being a practitioner, basically you're doing medicine and you have to, meet with your patients.
Sure.
And eventually you realize that most of the cases you see stems from life.
Okay.
That's another thing. So you realize that people change and modify their lifestyle, take care of themselves, do what they're supposed to do, it will prevent certain illnesses.
Okay.
So that drew my attention, where why don't you do preventive, medicine or health optimization instead of, I enjoyed this part more than seeing them come sick. And then you're managing, illness. So the more you prevent people from falling ill, that's to me more fulfilling.
That means some of the physical illness people do have start from their head.
I would not every, because you have genetic factors that can make people just because your family history has certain diseases, you're likely to fall into that. But as the world kept on evolving, people started having a lot of lifestyle diseases.
Okay.
You understand? And from diabetes to obesity to hypertension to chronic illnesses, stroke, a lot flows from there. And if you manage yourself properly, you prevent getting these diseases, and then also the mind is important, because if you're not sound-minded, you will not pay attention to yourself.
Sure.
If you're not even knowledgeable on how to take care of yourself properly, you would end up getting certain diseases and getting certain health challenges just because you are careless with yourself.
Okay.
And everything about life is connected. Your physical health is connected to your mental health. Your mental health is connected to your emotional health. Your emotional health is connected to your social health. Your social health is connected to your behavioral health.
Sure.
So everything falls into you. If you don't manage this one well, then it comes into this. And then you also need, if you even get a disease, to manage yourself properly. Outside the medication, they tell you this and this you have to do. And it's important to take care of all these other aspects of your life to stay healthy.
Okay. Before we go into the main topic, which is mental health literacy, there are three words there. You understand? You have your mental health, you have the mental, you have the health, and you have the literacy. For me, if you tell me mental health, I look at it the negative aspect.
Exactly.
You understand? But you understand?
Yeah.
So can you just help us break it down?
Okay.
Mental health, because or is it it depends on the context.
No, mental health is mental health.
Okay. Because if I'm talking to a normal person and the person will just go to a mad person or someone that is not. So can you just help us?
Okay, so I get what you say, because even I get what you say. People actually, once you hear mental health, it's like, oh, mental illness, mental disease, person don't go, you know. But that's far from the truth.
Okay.
There is mental illness and there's poor mental health. Just like you have physical health and physical illness and poor physical health, where you're not taking care of yourself, you're not working out, you're not eating right, you're not having good sleep. You're a very normal person physically, but you're not optimal.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean you're ill. You understand? It's the same thing with mental health.
Yeah.
You can have mental illnesses, and then you can have poor mental health. Okay. So mental health generally is a state of emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Okay?
Yeah.
And mental health is important to manage stress.
Okay.
It's important to make decisions. It's important in handling life challenges. You know, so I love the World Health Organization definition. It kind of puts it all in good context.
Okay.
So it says it's a state of well-being where an individual, a person, realizes their full potential. That's mental health.
Okay.
And then 2, you're able to cope with stress and life challenges, because that is what life throws at you. Okay. And then beyond that, you're able to do good work. You're productive and you're fruitful. This is all definition of mental health. And then after that, you are able to contribute to your community. You're able to be of good contribution to somebody else apart from yourself.
Okay.
So this is a full concept of what mental health is.
Okay.
Just the same way, like a full concept of what health is not the absence of disease only.
Yeah.
You get it's like your social, your physical, your mental, your emotional, you are well.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah. So that is what mental health is.
Okay. So when you add the word literacy.
Okay.
So what?
I mean, literacy is really literally that you know.
No.
That you know and you understand. Let's add the understanding part. Because people can know, but the fact that you don't understand, you will still make certain mistakes that will affect you.
Sure.
So the two go together in literacy.
Okay.
Okay. The knowledge comes, and then the understanding comes, and then you'll be able to put the two together and put it into practice.
Okay. I have a friend's friend that said, okay, I had a story about her where she's doing well, but she's depressed.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. What could actually be the cause to that?
Well,
because I don't understand why somebody will be doing well, you're eating well, your job is going on well, but you're just depressed.
Yeah. Like the definition, I said, is an emotional, psychological, and social. It's a state of emotional, psychological, and social well-being.
Okay.
You can be doing good work. You can be doing great. You are a fantastic wife. You are a fantastic mother. In the faces of people. But emotionally, you're not okay.
Okay.
You may be suffering with trauma. You may be suffering from different emotional problems that can make you go all the way down to depression. You're sad. You don't know how to get out of being sad.
Okay.
And then psychologically, it's affecting how you think about yourself, how you feel about your environment.
Yeah.
Your concept of everything is skewed, but you know how to do work, because most of us, we are trained to go to school. Forget about why you cry when your focus should be A students. Why are you acting as if it's the end of the world when you should work hard to get money? So people know how to compartmentalize.
Okay.
But they are, in their hearts, they're not okay.
What can actually lead to that?
A lot of things. Why do we start from a lot of things? Okay. One, you could actually have, real mental illness.
Can you give me a life example of that?
Okay. Let's take a typical woman or a typical man.
Okay.
he grew up, or they grew up in a home that was very abusive and toxic.
Okay.
That's for starters. And they saw things that they shouldn't have seen. They experienced things that they shouldn't experience. But they learned how to compensate, how to navigate without meeting their needs. You understand? So they work so hard to get out of that environment. But a lot of wounds have happened that have broken them in different places. But they have learned how to go to school, regardless of what is happening, and focus and suppress. Now, suppressing your emotions is one of the worst things that you can do to yourself.
Are you serious?
Yes. Because that thing you're suppressing is either it's going to attack your physical body or it's going to come out in a different way. Yes. Yes. If you suppress your emotions and you do not know how to navigate and let them out, it can cause a lot of physical harm. So many people that come to the hospital with chronic illness and all of that is because of the toxicity that they have left inside them.
Inside them, okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So this child, has experienced all manner of things. For women, probably experienced rape. I've seen a lot of that. And nobody knows.
Wow.
Nobody knows. So they learn the art of masking. And they learn the art of putting on the face that everybody wants. But there are things that have not been addressed. So now for a woman who has been raped, you realize she gets older and even her husband touching her is
affecting her
mind because she starts having PTSD, like she's triggered. Then the man doesn't understand what's wrong with you, and she will not say the truth of what is wrong with her. He does not know. And then now after that experience, she has to go to work, she has to get the kids ready. She's doing all of that, but in her heart she is sad, extremely sad, because she's reliving what happened to her as a child.
Okay.
You understand?
Wait, reliving?
She's reliving it. So when you're triggered, that's what happens. When you're triggered, it's an automatic response. So somebody else does something. It's not the person that raped you. It's not the person that abused you. But immediately you're triggered. You go back to, in your mind, you go back to the experience. You go back to how you felt when that first thing happened. If your heart is, your heart was beating fast then, if you were sad and crying, if you felt alone, if you can imagine as an adult experiencing all of that at the same moment, but you've mastered the art of putting on the mask, and then you've learned how to, it's one side, let's keep it there. I have to go to work, I have to smile, I have to do all of that, but you're suffering.
So I want to understand the relief part. What are you doing or what is she doing to relieve herself from that?
They don't know how to relieve themselves. They just know how to put it under the rug. Most people.
That's dangerous.
Thank you. I was talking to somebody who experienced this, a client of mine, and it's bad. You get a lot of abuse and neglect. And we think people don't, mental health is what? Emotional well-being. Especially in Africa, you're taught that your emotions don't really matter. They say control it, but that means just put it at the bottom. You have things to do, but it's the wrong thing. You're affecting yourself. So outside, she's okay, normal, but she kept on projecting. If something happens to her, she's projecting on people around her. She speaks badly. She's always angry. She's always digging. So I'm like, what's up? What's going on? And then digging deep, there were so many things that happened to her nobody knows about. So she kept on sweeping it under the rug, and then now she's always triggered because God is a wonderful God. He will put you in situations, because when you need healing, the thing that would show that you need healing is that the things will start coming out.
Trials also make us strong.
Yes. Challenges will start coming, trials will start coming to reveal, so that you can present it and start doing something about it. If you've learned the art of burying, it will never come out. And you will never work on it. But you will keep on living an inauthentic life. That's sad. Anyway, so we went over, all the things that happened to her. And healing takes time. If you break your bone, it takes time. You're going to wear a cast, and then they go keep checking before they remove it. And after remove, you have to be careful. You may be stiff. You do physiotherapy. That's healing. It's not just linear, And going over all the layers of all that happened to her, to just make her breathe and let go. You know, if somebody does not answer you, doesn't mean that the person hates you. It doesn't mean that you can attack the person. Do you understand? Like you're always defensive, or you're always frozen, or you're always, off just because something has happened. Healing takes you address all of that, and then you see your today as today. Not that you're traveling between the past or traveling to the future. You are today. You're giving your best today. You're happy today. You're sound mind today. So when we went through the process, and then, she has started addressing all the other things, she just realized that she's like a lot of weight off your shoulder.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone said that when he's depressed, even in prison, the first thing that comes to his mind is to sleep. You understand? So outside that, he runs.
Wow.
Yeah. So when that is just ease himself. So apart from that, what can someone do to actually get a stable mental health?
Okay, so there are a number of things you can do. But like I said, first and foremost, if you have poor physical health, you start addressing what is making you have the poor. If you're not sleeping properly, they say sleep 7 to 8 hours. You start prioritizing that. If you're not drinking water and you're getting dehydrated all the time, you start. So you know where your challenges are.
Okay.
If you're not eating well, you will start working on your nutrition and your diet. So the same thing with mental health. Before you even talk about, there are many people living with poor mental health. It's not that they're mentally ill. Even depression, there are different spectrums to it. Before you become clinically diagnosed as clinically depressed, it's different from, you're burnt out and you're just experiencing different depression. You are dealing with shame and guilt, so it keeps you, depressed.
Yeah.
Or you have not learned the skill of rising above certain situations, so it stays. That's another thing.
So that has to bring us to maturity.
Yes. Apart from maturity, many people that's my maturity is very
very low.
Very relative. It's not about age.
Okay.
It's about what you do and how you learn and how you grow and how you rise above.
Yeah.
There's somebody who may be younger and the person can handle certain challenges. Somebody who is older and the person is struggling. So this person has learned the art of, has gotten what they're supposed to get and is rising above. You're resilient. You are tenacious, you have tenacity, and you're patient with yourself. You've learned the art of zoning out and figuring things out. You're working on your mind so that you can solve problems.
Okay.
It's not about maturity per se. It's about how you have made yourself, how you have availed yourself to your own growth and healing. You understand? Because remember, mental health is how a person realizes their full potential. If you realize it early, the better for you. So the person who is running, there are tricks that you can do to get yourself out of that feeling into, good feeling. You get that, but you have to find out what is really causing, get to the root of the problem, not just treat the symptom.
Okay.
That's another thing. So you can be having malaria, and you keep taking Panadol because you're having headache. The malaria is still going to be there, smiling at you. So yes, it's good. These practices are good, but seek help to find out why exactly you keep feeling depressed.
Okay.
You get, for him in prison, it could be anything. It could be shame. It could be guilt. It could be whatever the case may be. He should seek professional help. Or he should get resources. There are different resources now online. Get a counselor, get somebody that is mentally sound, that you can express and say, okay, this is my plan. The person kind of works with you until you get over whatever it is.
Okay.
So if you know what is affecting you, it's not just to relieve the symptom. I like what he's doing, where he's running, that's the first thing we'll tell people. You understand? If you start feeling like this, take deep breaths. Or just go into your closet, visualize, or meditate, or go and pray. Whatever it is that can hack your emotions to happy mood instead of sad mood, that's wonderful. But beyond that, you have to go deeper.
Okay.
Because if you want to be productive and you want to have a fruitful life, whether in prison or free, you need to have a sound mind.
Sure.
you need to have a sound mind. So it's not just temporary fix. We need depth. So if you need professional help, it could be a mentor, it could be a counselor, it could be a coach. It could be a psychiatrist, it could be a if you need a shrink, you need a shrink.
In our hospitals today, I don't think I personally don't think that they do have this mental health department. They do.
Not every
hospitals.
Not general hospitals. They do.
They do. Okay.
So there are mental health departments, but like I said, it's the stigma that comes with it.
Okay.
So people don't even want to be associated with that because they would think if I walk in there, they'll think I'm mad.
Oh.
Do you understand? But it's a requirement. If it's something like when you choose to work on your physical health, you go to the gym. Do you understand? You start eating right. You have accountable partners and all of that. It's the same thing mentally. In the Western world, it's a thing. Everybody goes for therapy. Everybody has a coach. Not everybody, but they work towards it.
Okay.
Do you understand? Once a week, that's all. So you can just go and filter, wash yourself, and come out. You get. So it is needed, but the stigma in Africa, or the stigma in Nigeria, or the stigma in River State where we are, that is what is preventing people from reaching out.
Oh.
Do you understand? Or optimizing it with a specialist.
Okay.
They'll rather do it on their own or do it in church or do it, but you're struggling. There are people who know how to help you. Go and meet them. In according to your budget, they are there. So even in the general hospitals, yes, there are mental health departments, there are psychiatrists.
But do you think they should do more work on mental health awareness?
I believe so.
Because I don't think it's actually
I believe so. It's because of the way that it is perceived. They need to change that.
Who needs to change that?
Everybody. In schools, I would appreciate it if, like my children's school, is something that they have a mental health awareness week, where they teach the kids from the meaning of mental health first, leave illness, normalcy. You're in school to realize more of your own potential because there's greatness in you.
Sure.
Life is more than your career. You need to be of sound mind, to be a good wife, a good husband, a good father. There are things that are more important, that you need mental health to be fruitful and productive, according to even the definition. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But everybody sees mental health, depression.
It's like mad person.
Do you understand? But the point of it is that there are so many people who have poor mental health.
Yeah.
The homes are being destroyed. Children's lives are being affected. These children are going to grow up to be, God knows, just because their parents are unaware of how their mental health is affecting them. Do you understand? So from schools, from companies, they should have that as part of the policy.
Sure.
Do you understand? In the news, when we're watching news, we should have mental health. You see people maybe running, and then see people, doing group, even just support group.
Sure.
Support group can do a lot where you come and you hear that there are other people that are suffering this thing with me.
But sorry to cut you. I've heard of where someone gets into a support group and shares his or her story, and all of a sudden, it's not a support group, it's a family. You understand? Not a support group, sorry. It's a family, and the cousin takes her story outside, and because family is where you're supposed to get love and where you're supposed to keep secrets, but all of a sudden I'm hearing my story somewhere else where I'm not even supposed to hear it. You understand? So that's, some people get that and do not want to share their story, and even if they do, they don't want to share the extreme part of it.
That is why people have they're walking on the road. In fact, they are not suffering from poor mental health, they're actually mentally ill. And that's the truth. But there's nowhere they can get help. And then the people you feel that are supposed to protect you, people are killing you. So wisdom is profitable in all. Family, there's reality of things. Do you understand? And there's wisdom, there are boundaries. Even Jesus chose who his family was at the end of the day. When his mother came and said, I'm looking for you, he said,
I mean, my father. These are my father.
I'm here. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, not every family member is also an individual struggling with whatever they're struggling with. Okay, so part of how will I put it? Part of the things that we need to optimize our mental health is safe connections.
Okay.
You know, good community network where you're safe, so you will know what safety means for you. You get where there's confidentiality, where there's protection, where your concern is really, really what they are about.
Sure.
So you just don't go about blabbering to somebody because you say the person is family. Person may be the person that will kill yourself. You know, so these are the things that people should consider. Sometimes when you really get professional help and you pay, you can take the person to prison. You know, the person does their work and you know that there's safety and you can point out.
Well, okay.
If you don't have that, then you should know the people that you can trust. Don't waste your trust. Even Jesus said, don't throw your pearl to swine. Start identifying the swine around you. Not that they are bad people, but they are bad for you.
Oh.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So connection is very important, but the connection you pick is also is priority. Because when you're going through something, life challenges, the whole point of even mental health is really overcoming and coping with challenges. Stress is part of life. And for you to grow and not be stagnant, you would experience challenges, you experience stress. When those things are put in front of you, you learn, you grow. Our whole life, we are moving up the level of consciousness to our higher self.
Sure.
You get, we are becoming something. You cannot become if you are in the same environment all day, year out, 10 years has passed, you are still here, you will remain there. But when you're exposed to certain things, it shakes you and you grow. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that is what we are about. The people around you matter so much.
Sure.
Because when it hits you so bad, it could be ill health that would affect your mental state. It could be challenges at work that will affect, it could be the economy, people are suffering. Let's not go there. It's challenging. It's very challenging, and it has led people to either be suicidal, to be drug addicts, to be addicted to different things because they don't know how to cope. And there's no way out in coping. So it means they are suffering mentally.
Sorry, that brings me to, can someone actually look for a good mental health and fall into the wrong hand? For example, I'm having some difficulty in my office and I can't tell anybody. Okay. You understand? So I find peace in alcohol. I find peace in drink and smoking. Yeah. So that's what I mean by falling into the wrong hand. You understand? And people do not know that that's even worse.
Yeah. Very true. I spoke about the stress bucket one time in my channel, and the truth of the matter, there's an outlet, because when you have a stress bucket, it contains all the stress.
Okay.
And then there are different things that bring stress. Okay. From family to work to all these different things. There's healthy outlets.
Okay.
Where you open it to relieve the stress. Okay, you balance your demands and your resources, and you get information and more resources to help yourself. There's the outlet that's actually very bad that will pour back more stress into your life.
Yeah.
You get, so alcohol, sex addiction, drug abuse.
Can food be?
Yes, emotional. Okay. You know, emotional eating. It's actually mental. How will I put it now? Yes, actually, that's the truth. So people have bad relationship with food, and then you connect it to body image, and then you do it because you want to relieve yourself. So you end up vomiting, or you end up overstarving yourself, or you end up
lazing about.
Yes, it's a spectrum of mental illness. So there are unhealthy coping mechanisms and healthy coping mechanisms. Unhealthy coping mechanisms where you feel this is the best way to cope with stress, and this is the best way to cope with challenges. This is the best way to cope with wahala. Is to drink, different addictions, isolate. You know, there are different unhealthy coping mechanisms. So people overeating, emotional eating, are people who think because it gives you relief. Devil is a liar. It gives you relief, and it's like, this makes me feel good. So temporary. Remember, I mentioned it initially that you can have temporary fix, but you're not catching the problem at the root of it.
Symptoms.
Do you understand the symptom? Yeah, you're dealing with the symptom. You're not dealing with the actual problem.
Yeah.
So that's what people do.
Okay.
So it could be people do it in different moderation where they can catch themselves. People do it to another level that would increase. So you can imagine you use alcohol, and then that affects you in terms of it takes you away from home, it takes you away from even the time you're supposed to use and work on yourself, do yourself, go for courses, whatever it is you need to solve the problem. You spend it drinking. Now that can also affect your health. Let's say you have a lifestyle disease already, you go and worsen matters. They say don't drink alcohol. They said this is the only. In fact, somebody was a conversation, then you're like, oh, I've stopped drinking, and they were like, how do you make yourself happy? That was the question.
Okay.
So people believe that this is the best, coping strategy for most men.
Okay.
Let me put it like that. There are other unhealthy devices that people do. So if you do that, you increase your problem. You either add poor health, or add disease, or add family wahala. When you go home and then they lock you out, or you beat your wife for nonsense, literally, you miss your targets. There's so many things that can. So you're adding more stress into your stress bucket. But your temporary relief is like what, one night? Or do you understand? You spend money too. You don't have the money. Your challenge is at work, and then you're almost losing your job. But it's like, I need to, this helps me. So the healthy coping strategies are the things that people take for granted. Honestly. Mindfulness, meditation, like we've talked about, safe connection and community, professional help.
Sure.
Depending on what it is that is causing your mind to not be at rest.
Okay.
There are different spectrums. So if it is work and you're lacking skill, or you're lacking communication with your colleagues to help you, focus on that. That's where you would solve your problem. Do you understand? Your coping mechanism now should be one, relief. Okay, if it's prayer, if it's just unplugging and say, okay, I need to get my mind back. I need to go back to being grounded. I need to pour back into myself. I need rest. I need, what you need. It's not to go and drink. It's not to go and fool around. It's to get yourself grounded so that your mind is clear, and then you can learn what you need to get the resources that you need to meet the demand. Do you understand? So,
okay, that brings me to, I have a friend that she's always happy. You understand? She says she will not trade anything for her happiness. But on the other hand, she doesn't care about what you say.
Okay.
She's harming the next person.
But she doesn't care about what she says. Like she has to lose.
Okay, what you think about her.
Okay.
So even if she's hurting you, she doesn't care as long as she's happy.
So she's selfish. Yeah, that's
you understand?
That explains it all. You're
So you're complaining to her. She said, "I don't care."
So that's taking.
She will tell you sorry, and she's moving on.
That's people. A lot of things happen to people that make them choose. This is who they are right now, and this is what works for them.
Okay.
You get so hurt people. You understand?
Oh, I get.
So something must have led to her being like that. Do you understand? And if that is how you have been since you were a child, then there's something wrong. We are not here to be selfish. We cannot give. You remember we say mental health is also contributing to your society.
Yeah.
That's not contributing. That's basically affecting another person.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So whatever it is that is causing that problem, she is not addressing it. But she has chosen a coping mechanism,
like the wrong bucket.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So she's like, I've seen this thing before. I've given myself, I've poured myself, and people show me again. Not doing it.
Okay.
So then she becomes even like them.
Okay.
And to her, it's like, at least I'm saving stress. Nobody's disturbing me. I don't want to stay. Do you get?
Yeah.
So that is not healthy. that is not you. There's something wrong. You need to address it.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, really, God created all of us to follow moral ethics and, all that he put in us. If you really heal and you're normal the way God designed you to be, you can be assertive, okay? But you're still kind.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can be straightforward. Do you understand? But you're loving. After all, he says, love others. The way that's a command. You love him first, then you love others. That's not loving the next person.
Should empathy come in there?
Empathy. Empathy is many people struggle with empathy. I think I used to be like that at one point in my life. I think I'm very empathetic. Okay. But when you pour that in an unhealthy way where you don't have your boundaries in place, you're not responsible for yourself. Then you can enter wahala. The next thing you blame other people, and then now you're like, empathy, kill it. No, we don't need it. But no, the whole point of everything is you realize your full potential, who you are supposed to be, your higher self. Your higher self really is operating from a different level where you see people as they are. You give grace. You control your environment. You have limits to things. But at the end of the day, you are pleasing to God.
Okay. I want to ask. First, let me give this story. This couple, they've been good to themselves. So to a point, the man lost his job.
Yeah.
You understand? So, and the whole responsibility was on him. You understand? Even if the wife was actually busy doing something. But for the fact that after the man lost his job, he could not produce anything for the family again. He's just there. He turned into a house husband. You know? So I want to ask, so that made him depressed. That made him accept his life at that moment. So he's actually unkept. He's just destabilized. So I want to ask, what can family and friends do to help someone who is actually depressed, who is mentally unstable? Because it has to start from the family and friends before we get to the society.
Now, from this story, there's so many things that I saw as wrong.
Okay.
Number one, his self-concept was very wrong. He built his whole life around his job. A whole human being.
True.
A whole man.
True.
Child of God. You lost a job, so you see, realize your full potential. That's all that is there to you. So this is another thing that culture does. It puts you in a box.
Sorry, what do you mean his whole life on the job?
Yes, you lost your job and then you don't know what else to do.
Okay.
You cannot see any other thing
to
put your hands into.
Okay.
To bring in
but
money.
Our fathers those days, it was just their job.
Some were farmers. And then if you had a job and you lost that job,
there was nothing to fall back to.
If there's nothing to fall back to, will you just sit and fold your arms? Even in the village. Number one, godliness with contentment is great gain. So first of all, cut your coat according to your size wherever you're at. Do you understand? But we are not built to just fall because we are being hit.
Okay.
And especially now, our forefathers then, you can say, in fact, they would work. You get either you're a mechanic or you're something. You're a teacher. You're something. You're not just there. Your life will change for the moment, but you will do something. So if you've lost your job, this world is so different where you can make money in many ways. Do you understand?
Sure.
Many courses out there, many entrepreneurial opportunities, many. How much do you have on your hand? And what skill do you have? What's the potential? What value can you offer? If you don't, nobody's hiring you. How are other women, even small, doing it? The point is that there's always a place for you to start again. There's always a place for you to build yourself. If this skill is not working, go and get another skill. This is where family and friends can help you in terms of helping you, position you so that you, in fact, I was talking to somebody and, this this slogan that they say, if you teach people how to fish,
Okay.
they would stop begging for fish. If you keep giving fish, more they will come and say, we need more fish.
Sure.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So family and friends are not there to give you fish, to come, how they can sustain it. What is sustainable is to see how you can build yourself and position you in a place where you can actually stand on your 2 feet and be responsible. Your lifestyle may reduce, things may happen, but there are people who start from the scratch and then they hit the top.
Sure.
Do you understand? I would never agree to, oh my God, it's so bad. Where's the wine? What's wrong with you? You have kids, you have a wife. Do you understand? Yes, you will sit down and after, there's room for you to feel bad. There's healthy feeling bad. That's where you understand your emotions and you learn what your emotions are teaching you. Do you understand? So in that situation, you learn all that you have missed.
Okay.
Do you get? And you rise above and start from somewhere. Not stay there and be like the world has ended because I'm not doing this particular job. Nobody is hiring me. What can you do? This is what is happening in societies. Now people now end up being kidnappers and all manner of nonsense because they cannot see their full potential. So you're useless. You cannot work. Did they attach bank to your name? Is it your bank? Did they attach school? Do you understand? What even made you lose your job? If it was economy, okay, what else can you do? There are many opportunities that spring up. There are people who go into, people make money in crazy ways. In fact, I saw something where Canva alone, you go, you do your ebook, you put certain money aside, you do this, you do that. I saw it online. Someone was advertising it in the US.
Okay.
Do you understand? That is like something somebody will not even think about. Exposure too. You cannot stay in the house and say, it's over. Do you understand? That's not healthy. That's not healthy. That's not also optimizing yourself. You went to school. You're a man. I don't even accept it for women. Talk less of a man.
Okay.
Do you get? It's easy to fall back on, oh, what is me? No. There's talent inside you. There's more inside you. If you even die and go to heaven, they would, that's another thing altogether. Because they'll say, okay, what did you do? That is all that you are. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So understanding exposure and then being responsible. Being responsible. So now people don't know how to pick themselves up and think like this. That's where the problem is in mental health. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It has happened, so woe is me. It's the end.
It's finished.
But what happens to your potential? What do you have in your hands? What can God use? What can you offer? What's your value? Do you understand? So sometimes we need to know these things about ourselves first and foremost because it keeps you believing. It keeps you sane. So you don't. If you lose hope, then it's really hard to bring you back. So these are your family and friends. They're not there to find job for you. They're there to support you to get back on top, not to spoon feed you. So if you are irresponsible, it's your fault. It's not their fault.
Sure.
So you can end up even being a menace to them. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's a bad situation that has happened. That is a challenge. That is stress. How do you cope? How do you rise above? How do you make sound decision? How do you solve problem? It's a problem. What are you going to do to solve the problem? People dwell there on the problem. Full stop. There's a problem. Oh, there's a problem. But the point about being mentally sound is that you can solve that problem with whatever resources that is around you. Creatively is out of nowhere. Something can happen. Do you get?
Sure.
And I'm Christian, and I believe in the magnitude of God in us. Talk less of, do you get, in a family, the magnitude of God in you. You will see. Yes, my story may be different, but then again, I'm a medical doctor. I still started an e-commerce business. I still started. There's still more. I wrote a book. There's so many. If somebody called me, I was like, please, just tell me, how is the brain working? There's more to everybody.
Sure.
You need to actually even believe it. Because the first thing after having a state of well-being is that you actually realize your full potential. That's mental health. That's mental health.
Okay. So, Ma, what does recovery mean to you?
Recovery. And there are different scenarios. So, one, you're getting back to a normal state.
Okay.
Two, you're taking control.
Okay.
You're seizing control back. So it depends on where you're at. So if you have mental illness, and you're on treatment.
What do you mean mental illness?
Okay, so if you have mental illness, not poor mental health.
Okay.
You get it? If you have mental illness where you're schizophrenia or PTSD or, proper anxiety issues, emotional eating and all of that you
it's
really
OCD,
need. What is it?
OCD.
Yes, OCD, actually. People say, like, I have OCD. So the thing about mental illness, when you're mentally ill, you see all those definitions of mental health, it is affecting it. You cannot see yourself. Your self-concept is whack. You cannot cope at all with stress. People just sit down like this. That's it. That's in they are there physically, but they are not there. They cannot cope with life. They are done with life. You cannot work. You're not productive. So mental illness takes everything away from you. Now, when they get proper help and they start to recover, all these things start coming back.
Okay.
Do you understand? They see themselves, they have a better self-concept of themselves, they have a better understanding of challenges. They start learning how to cope with small challenges, set small goals, meet your goals. They start and they learn the skills and things they need to navigate certain things that put them there.
Yeah.
So if they meet it again, they can do something about it. They even become advocates. Do you understand? And they start contributing.
Sure.
So that's recovery. Do you understand? You are getting back to normalcy and even doing better. Do you understand? You're seizing control of your life. So in all these factors, if you're having poor mental health and it's, let's say, is over analyzing and anxiety, that's your problem. If you know that's your problem, then there are ways to cope with it. So recovery from, first of all, you identify that that's my challenge. If I stay here now, I'm in the future. In the future, 5 hours has passed, you're still in the future. This is really something that happens to people normally. Do you understand? They are not present in the moment. They're like, I'm going to fail. It's not going to work. It didn't work the last time. It's something that keeps on affecting their productivity. Now, they're not mentally ill in any asylum, but they're not actually okay.
Yeah.
So when you identify that as your problem, what can you do to solve it? How do you learn how to focus on what you can focus on? Focus on what you can control right now. No matter how you want to think of the failure that has not happened, it has not happened. You get, there are things that you start learning. Affirmation, the words that you speak to yourself, you speak to your soul, that will ginger you up. You get the activities that you can do that will put you in the right frame of mind. These are things that people who are responsible will start doing. Not say, this is how I am. This is how I am. I can take 5 minutes. I have to figure out the future. Your whole life, every day is passing. You understand? So yeah, these are the things. This is what recovery means. You identify your problem. It is being handled.
Okay.
You're doing something about it, and then you're recovering back to a better state.
Okay, someone going through a recovery process. Are there things the person needs to do to stay focused? Because sometimes you hear somebody say, I tried, but it didn't work.
My slogan is, if you're trying, you're not doing anything. You're either doing or you're not doing. I don't like the term try, this personal, because it already gives you room to say it's not working.
Okay.
That is the truth. People say try and then they actually try. But now I realize that it's like an excuse. So when they say, I am trying, it's already telling you that it's not going to work. So in my house, I tell my kids and people that work for me, there's nothing like try. You're either doing or you're not doing. And then if you do and it doesn't work out, you will learn, you will grow. You see?
And do again.
You're not trying to do anything. Trying is like, what is trying? Please tell me. Do you understand? Okay. Dr. Uddy, stand up and walk. I am trying to get up from the chair. and stand up. You understand? Get up and walk. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's the thing we try. It's a wrong perception or perspective of addressing anything. So you don't try. You do. You are responsible. So first and foremost, you have identified that you have a challenge.
Yeah.
That is even responsibility. People stay in denial for so long, and it causes a lot of problem.
Wow.
So you accept that, oh, I have this challenge, and I need help. Now, help most of the time starts with you. Self-help. What can you do? For even if let's say you have hypertension and you go to the hospital, most of the time, if it's grade 1, they will tell you need to change your diet, you need to take low salt foods, you need to work out. You have to be responsible. Do you understand? You have to be responsible. So when you see the food, you say, no, I can't eat that. Do you understand? When you see the alcohol, I think people need to be responsible for themselves, and then the family would know how best to support the person to rise above, to be able to cope with strength, to be able to still contribute, to be able to still be sound.
During recovery?
During recovery, yeah.
Okay.
The point is that you've highlighted that there's a problem. Like this man, he lost his job. It made him depressed. Do you understand? It made him anxious. It could have brought up so many other things, where if he's guilt, he feels shame, guilt, he's just like the world is against him. So he's cowering away instead of doing something, and then in that situation, you can stay there and become dependent on everybody else. So there's a story I saw online, which is a beautiful one.
Okay.
So there was a US soldier.
Okay.
And their New Year picture. I saw him with a mask here.
Okay.
The nose, and then so you see his smile. And I was like, what is this? So if you slide across, and he took off that mask. He didn't have nose. So you see the 2 nostril holes, like a skeleton. And his whole jaw probably were bombed out.
Wow.
And he was a beautiful creature to his family. And he was still wearing his uniform, meaning that he's still serving in the place that basically destroyed his face. You see, that is what I call resilience and rising above the situation. That man can still be in this situation where it's like, oh, my face is gone. My face is gone. My family will not. My wife will not. My this. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then instead of him wearing the US Army, he will be by the roadside, homeless or whatever the case may be.
And I think the family also played a very important role.
That's why I said connection and your support system is important. You should have a solid support system in life, because God said it's not good for man to be alone. Even our father knew that we need people.
Sure.
We need people. He saw Adam and said, this guy, we haven't seen it. It's not complete.
The pressure of club.
It's not complete. And the work he gave too, the magnitude of it, he knew that he needed help. I mean, there's God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. There are 3 in one. So your support system is important. Now, that thing would have devastated his family. Don't get me wrong. His wife would say, where do I start from looking at this face? This is not what I married. His children would have been afraid because he looks scary. And it could have mentally affected each and every one of them. Even when he healed and said he's going back to work, his wife is like, are you mad?
The same work that wants to kill you.
The same work that wants to kill you. But you see, they worked together. The wife would have dealt with her own mental health and mental issues with the situation and was responsible for herself, because you cannot pour out from from an empty cup.
Yeah.
If you don't have, you cannot give.
Sure.
So for her to stand through that, and the picture was beautiful. Do you get? And then I think they said the number of years that he's been like that, and the kids are growing, and it's a beautiful scenario. But they would have done the hard work of being responsible for their mental health, rising above, holding each other. He will go for therapy. He needs therapy. If he looks at himself in the mirror, he's like, have you watched The Mask? When he wears the mask and then he turns into that green thing, you see that face is not attractive. It's not nice. It's worse than that. So for him to see himself like that, to cope with that understanding and then through acceptance of his situation. Do you understand? And working on his mental health to rise above that situation with resilience. I can do this. And your wife, she's sorting herself and she's also going for therapy or getting the help that she needs. And then coming back and then it's like, okay, how are we going to solve this problem? What are we going to do? How can I how can I be the best person for you? What do you even need? But you see, above all, this man was responsible for his life. And that's why he is like a normal human being, but with a damaged face. It's not defining him. You understand?
Yeah.
So the thing with many people in that kind of situation is like, it's over for me.
It's over for me.
It is over. And then you destroy other lives alongside. So you see the importance of taking care of your mental state, your emotional state. If you don't know how to manage your emotions, you will never be successful.
Sure.
Because when those emotions come rising, fear, anger, shame, and guilt, and all the other things, sadness, if you don't know how to manage it, you will never be successful. How you think, how you feel, and what you do is the bedrock of mental health.
Sure. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, what message and hope will you give to someone going through mental health issues and someone in the recovery process?
For someone going through mental health issues, let me tell you, you're not alone. We are all together. So far, you're a human being. You're experiencing things that will affect your mind. You're experiencing things that would challenge your beliefs, challenge your values, challenge your principles. So you're not alone. There are many other people going through it. And then guess what? The more you overcome, the more you rise. Okay. So I encourage you to learn I encourage you to learn skills to make you more resilient, to make you say, no matter what comes my way, I am truly an overcomer. It's that mindset that would lead you and push you. Mindset, because mental means mind.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that mindset, having the right mindset, will help you overcome whatever it is that happens in life, and you will still be the best human being you can be. For people who are already down, don't stay down. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or pamper you. Don't stay there. The down place is not nice. You yourself, it's not nice. Don't stay there. Rise above. Rise above. Realize your full potential. Realize the resources and the opportunities God has put in your life. And use it and become the best you. So far you have life, you can still be who you're supposed to be. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Uddy.
Yeah.
Thank you for granting us this interview. At least personally, it's been a blessing to me. And you can follow Dr. Uddy on all your favorite social media platforms. There you can find that at Dr. Uddy.
Yeah,
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Thread, X. You can find that there. Thank you very much.
Dr. Uddy Isirima, at Dr. Uddy Isirima.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if this is your first time watching us and you've come to this point, please support us by subscribing. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Bye. Thank you, ma. Thank you very much. Thank you.